Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 7 of English Language Arts. I can't believe that this year is going by so fast. It's crazy. But I just wanted to say a special hello to any parents that are watching with us. I strongly encourage you all to watch so that you are informed of what's going on in our classroom on a weekly basis. Students, good to see you as well. Hope that all of y'all are here as this is part of your homework. And this is a very, very, very important video. And you'll see why in a moment. I have a little something cooked up for you. So just a recap of where we are now. As you probably noticed, there was no video from last week, but we're jumping right back into the swing of things this week. I didn't want to overload you all too much while you were putting the finishing touches on your project. And speaking of that, your project should have been turned in on Edmodo on Friday, September 27th, unless we made any special arrangements. I'm looking forward to seeing all of the parent forms that are coming back today, Monday, September 30th, and projects will be returned to you as soon as I finish grading them. Might take a little while to get through all 63 of y'all, but it's going to come back to you, and I'm going to be putting some very specific feedback on that so that you can continue to learn and grow. So far I've been seeing some really good things, so that's excellent. Also, progress report grades, I put them in on Friday, so you should see progress reports, coming to you the second week of October. So this week our big thing was that we launched Unit 2, which is based on figurative language and poetry. So it's a really, really interesting unit. We're going to get the chance to express ourselves and learn a lot about what other people have done in terms of poetry. It's going to be very challenging, but also a lot of fun. So definitely looking forward to that. So just to keep you posted on what's going on this week. This week for warm-up, we're going to be focusing mainly on new vocabulary. And this vocabulary, I actually pulled it from 9th grade. So you all are a step ahead of the curve. We're trying to build up that SAT vocabulary. So definitely we're going to be working on that. In addition, on Monday, you will be presenting your projects to the class. Some of you have decided to do videos and PowerPoints. Some of you may just want to come up and talk about the book that you read. That's totally fine. That's going to be our main focus on Monday. But besides that, we're also going to be doing some writing of our own poetry, and we're also going to be reading and analyzing other people's poetry. Also this week, something new is that we're going to be having Study Island for homework this week. We did it as a warm-up 2 weeks ago, so everyone should have their username and their password. If not, please come see me, and I will get it to you as soon as possible. All right, so let's jump into the swing of things. Today's topic is how to be a homework hero. So I'm going to break it down for you. First things first, I'm going to give you the top 5 mistakes of what I've been seeing from a lot of people's homeworks. And I'm going to show you how to correct it. Without any further ado, let's get started. In no particular order, I want to talk first about pet peeve number 5. Count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is incomplete and improper sentences. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are in middle school, so when you turn in a homework assignment, then they should always, actually scratch that, bring it back. When you turn in any assignment, be it homework, be it classwork, be it a journal entry, then you should have the basics down. You should be writing in complete sentences. That means starting with a capital letter and ending with a proper punctuation mark. In addition, things like proper nouns should be capitalized all over the place. If you're saying I, referring to yourself, that should always, always, always take a capital I. We've talked about common nouns. We've talked about proper nouns. In addition, I want to make a very special note for homework. Okay. Let me say this. In class assignments, sometimes they're timed, and sometimes we might make a little mistake here and there. We're human. We should try not to. Okay, you should definitely try not to make any mistakes, especially silly ones. But for homework, then I should not be seeing any spelling mistakes whatsoever. Okay, so let's take an example of what this might look like. All right, so let's say that I'm in 6th grade. I'm just randomly picking it from one of the texts that we did this week. And let's say that I was going back to our informational text space settlements article. So let's look at number 3 here on page 85. Name 3 ways that life on a space colony would differ from life on Earth according to space settlements. Okay, this is a mistake I've been seeing. People have been turning it in like this. They've been saying, no air, no space. What else? Too many people. Okay, I'm done. That's wrong. That's not what you do. If you are a homework hero, this is how you would answer this question. You would be sure to use complete sentences. Of course, we'd be restating the question in our answer, which is a preview to another one coming up. But the correct way to answer this, being a homework hero, would be to use complete sentences. 3 ways that life on a space colony would differ from life on Earth would be that, okay, and I'm totally making these up because I don't remember, would be that A, there is no air in space. B, it would be very crowded. And C, there would be, we want to keep it in the correct tense, would be too many people. Let's say I don't know how to spell people. Oh, look at that. My spell check corrected it for me. Wow. So time for homework mistake number 4. Now, guys, you've been doing BCR since you were in 3rd grade, maybe even before that. And you know you always have to start off with a topic sentence. So why make it hard for yourself? Make it easy. The work's already been done for you. You just have to read between the lines, okay? So they're going to say the question. All you have to do is restate the question in your answer. I've been putting that on homeworks. I've been putting that on warm-ups. I've been putting it on 3-ring. We definitely want to do this. Don't make it so hard on yourselves, okay? Just go ahead, take whatever's there and answer it, and that will show the reader exactly what you're writing about, okay? Question. A lot of times people make this mistake right here that I'm about to show you. Let's say that we're looking at number 6 on page 564. Recall that Billy Collins read this memorial poem when Congress met in New York City nearly 1 year after the attacks. Choose 3 lines or sections of the poem and tell why they might have been meaningful to the people hearing them on that day. Okay, so this is a mistake I'm getting. Let's go back here and look at some of these lines. I'm just going to pick some random lines just for the sake of time. Okay, let's see here. Number 6. This looks good. Names written in the air and stitched into the cloth of the day. That looks cool. Let's see, what else? Parker and Quigley in the twigs of an ash. And one more. Names written in the pale sky. And what else did it ask me here? It asked me, okay, why might have they been meaningful to the people hearing them on that day? Okay. Because the poet used imagery and examples to help people feel the emotion of what happened. Okay, I'm done. Wrong. Okay. Let me show you why. This answer, is it correct? Yes, it's correct. But if I'm looking at this, I don't know what you're telling me. What are these 3 random lines? Like, what are they supposed to mean? What I want to do is that I want to go back as a writer and restate the question so that the reader will know exactly what I'm answering. So let's see here. Let's see how we can revise this. It says, okay, blah, blah, blah. Choose 3 lines or sections of the poem and tell why they might have been meaningful to people hearing them on that day. Okay. The 3 sections of the poem that may have been meaningful. Let's see here. When Billy Collins read his poems to Congress were, okay, and now let's see. We're getting a little better. We're getting warmer. Okay. And then let's see here. Tell why they might have been meaningful to the people hearing them on that day. Watch this. Watch this. They may have been meaningful to the people hearing them on that day because the poet used imagery and examples to help people feel the emotion of what happened. You see that? This is a good answer. It's not a great answer, and I'm going to tell you why in just a moment, but keep this in the back of your mind. This is a good answer, and you'll be able to tell me why, what we can do to make it great in just a moment. Some of you already know, I'm sure. All right, so that's that. Mistake number 3 of the homework no-nos would be not answering what the question asks or all parts of the question. For example, if the question's asking you something about school lunches, then you're not going to start talking about the new Transformers movie because that's totally irrelevant. So you want to make sure to stick to the point, answer what the question asks. Likewise, if you write a BCR, a beautiful BCR, and it's talking about something that's like totally irrelevant, guess what score you're going to get on it? You're going to get a big fat 0. And we don't want that. No. We want to make sure that we're answering what the question's asking us. On the other side of that coin, if we flip that coin, then we want to make sure that we're answering all parts of the question. So a good way to help you if you find yourself struggling with this is to underline parts of the question and make sure that you restate them like we did in the last example. So you might want to go ahead and write the question out, and then underline exactly what the question's asking you and make sure that you restate it. So let's see if we can take a look. Let's see what this looks like. All right, let's take a look here at the 6th grade story, All Summer in a Day. Okay, we read this. It was about Margot, who came from Earth, and her friends on Venus were being mean to her. So let's take a look at question number 8 here. It says, how does the setting of the story influence the plot, including the conflict and resolution? Would there still be a story if Bradbury's Venus had less extreme weather? Okay, this is a common mistake I've been seeing. Let me show you. People would answer the question. Some people would answer it like this. They would say, Venus is really hot. I'm done. Now, let me give you another example. Some other people might say, they might do everything right so far that we've talked about. They might use proper sentences, grammar, all that good stuff, and even restate the question. Let's see. The setting of this story influences the plot because it is set on Venus where they do not, it's academic writing, they do not, so we don't use contractions. They do not see the sun very often. And the other children are jealous of Margot. And I'm going to stop that sentence right there and create a new one so I don't have what's called a run-on sentence that goes on and on and on and on. We don't want that. Okay, so the other children are jealous of Margot. Margot came from planet Earth and remembers the sun. Okay, I'm done. No, let me tell you why. There is much more to this question that we still need to answer. Now, some of you, it might help you to recopy this question here. The whole question, put it at the top here. Retype it out. How does the setting of this story influence the plot, including the conflict and resolution? Would there still be a story if Bradbury's Venus had less extreme weather? Explain. Okay, some of you, this is what I want you to start doing. Copy down the question. Next thing, we need to underline exactly what the question is asking us. So it's asking us, how does the setting influence the plot? We need to talk about the conflict. We need to talk about the resolution. There's more to this question. Yes, we wrote a lot, but we still have more to write. Would there still be a story if Bradbury's Venus had less extreme weather? And explain. Okay, so we answered the first part. How does the setting influence the plot? Okay, we need to now include the conflict and the resolution. So the conflict of the story, if y'all remember, is that Margot came from planet Earth and remembers the sun. So, and the other children are jealous of her. So we can identify this as a conflict. And as you know, the conflict is the main problem of the story. Okay, the resolution is the ending of the story. So during the climax, the other students locked Margot in the closet so that she could not see the sun. At the resolution, they felt bad and let her out. So now we have the first three parts of this question answered. Now, would there still be a story if Bradbury's Venus had less extreme weather? I would say no. If Venus had less extreme weather, the story would be different. And we can't just leave it at that because it's asking us to explain. And as you know, when we explain, then we tell the reason why. So why would the story be different? The story would be different because the other children probably would not be as jealous about the sun. And that, my friends, is how we become a homework hero. All right, guys, you ready for number 2? All right, here's frequent homework mistake number 2. It is not citing the text correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been through this several times. When you take a quote from the text, it's a great thing. It's going to help your score in BCRs. It's going to help your score in essays, all types of things. Because if you take a quote from the text and you use it correctly, then it's going to show that you understand the text, and therefore you get a higher score. So you need to cite the text, but you also need to be able to explain how that supports your answer. So there's a way to do it. So I'm going here to 7th grade online textbook, and we're going to look at page 965. And this here is about the professional athletes. Are they being paid too much? Okay, so I'm sure that you all remember this. This caused a lot of controversy in our class and a really, really good discussion. So what we want to do, let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 is telling us, choose one example of stereotyping that you noted as you read. What point was the writer trying to make? Suggest how Singletary or Helm could strengthen his argument by rewording his argument so that it does not rely on stereotyping. Cool. So, let me show you the mistake I've been seeing a lot of people make. They would do something like this. They would say, professional athletes are greedy, period. I'm done. Wrong. Okay. Let's see how we can go ahead and fix this and turn our work into being a homework hero. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we need to, first of all, obviously, restate the question in our answer. So number 5, one example of stereotyping from the text was when, and let's go back here. In class we read pro athlete salaries aren't overly exorbitant. So let me go there, and from here it's loading. Okay. So here I'm looking right on line number, let me see, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I guess until recently, I've thought the players were a bit selfish and their salaries would lead to the failure of professional sports. Now, as we discussed in class, a stereotype is when you overgeneralize about a group of people. It's like prejudice. So this right here is an example of a stereotype. He's saying that the players are a bit selfish. So, one example from the text was when Singletary, the author of this text, said that he thought that professional athletes were selfish. Okay? Now, I could do this, but this is okay. If I want to make it stronger, then what I want to do is that I want to take my text verbatim, meaning word for word, I want to take my quote verbatim from the text, and I'm going to actually cite it appropriately. And I'm going to actually set this apart in quotes, because it is a quote. It's something that the author directly said. Okay, so one example from stereotyping from the text was when Singletary said that, I guess until recently, I've thought the players were a bit selfish. And here, watch this. This is very important. In parentheses, I am going to cite either the page number or the line number. Either one would be appropriate. I could either say lines, let me see, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Lines 6 through 7. I could do that, or I could cite the page number. P dot, what page is this? 960. So we have answered the first part of this question. Now let's see what else it was asking us, if anything. What point was the writer trying to make? That's our next thing that we need to address. The writer was identifying his original claim, or his original idea that the greed of players would negatively affect professional sports. Then he offers a counterclaim. And if you remember, then he was saying that people should be able to make as much money as they want to, as long as people are willing to pay it. So then he offers a counterclaim that the athletes are justified in making their money because fans are willing to pay it. Okay? Now, Suggest how Singletary or Helm could strengthen his argument by rewording his statement so it does not rely on stereotyping. So here's where we put our thinking caps on. Singletary could have, what was the question again? Could have strengthened his argument by saying, some players, and I saw some people do this, this was good. Some players may have been selfish. Because then it's not a stereotype. You're not saying that all players are selfish. You're saying that some players may have been selfish, okay? So, again, that's strengthening the argument, okay? And I'm sure that some of you could think of much better ways to strengthen it even further than that. But that's a pretty good start. So, homework hero, go us. Okay, and last but not least, homework no-no number 1. This is my biggest pet peeve. Ooh, it just burns me up. Sometimes I'm getting work back from students that is showing me that you are rushing, you're not taking your time, you're not doing your best work. And that, to me, is not acceptable. In room 201, we always DYB, which means do your best. You always need to give it 110% because that's the only way that you're going to get better. I know that you all are brilliant. You're intelligent. You are wonderful writers. You are wonderful students. I don't want to see any kind of careless mistakes. You need to check your work. Read it over again before you turn it in. Don't want to see any kind of sloppy errors. Maybe even get mom or dad to take a look at it. And then turn it in. Because the only way that you are going to grow is if you do your best. So I am not going to be accepting sloppy, rushed work. So you need to turn in some quality work. Be proud of what you do, okay? Always be proud of what you do. Don't turn out any kind of sloppy, poor quality work because that's going to reflect badly on you, and you don't want that because you're so much better than that. Okay, all that being said, here's a recap of 5 ways to be a homework hero and not a zero. Number 5, make sure that your capitalization, grammar, spelling, punctuation, all of that is on point. You might want to use a spell check like we discussed in class. Take your time, okay? Number 4, make sure that you always restate the question in the topic sentence of your answer. Number 3, make sure that you answer all parts of the question. Number 2, make sure that you cite the text. Do use text citations, but make sure that you use them appropriately. And last but not least, number 1, DYB, do your best. So that's it. Next week, we are going to be launching our poetry project for Unit 2. Woo! Yay! It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very intensive, but it's going to be very fun. So definitely look out for the guidelines for that coming to you probably next Monday or Tuesday. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My email is sarahjane.thomas@pgcps.org. Phone number 301-702-3950, extension 251. Also, the 3-ring, I addressed that in an announcement last week. That parents and students, thank you so much for replying back to me when I do put comments up there. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to reply back to your replies because there's some kind of glitch going on. But I'm working with the company to try to get that figured out. So, yep. Also, I told you I had something special cooked up for you. So when you are done with watching this video, I want you to click on the link down there to access a quick quiz to see if you were able to pick up on everything that I've showed you. And that's about it. So goodbye.